band's been around for like 5 years. It was me, a different bass player, and a different drummer. And one thing, you know, like the old bass player actually became a fireman, couldn't do it anymore, so we found Mike, and he was friends with our old drummer, Nate. Then Nate, he left the band. We found Josh, and Travis, he's been my friend since I was like 13. I think it'd be cool if he got in the mix. Been playing like basically like the Woodstock, Nyack area, and we didn't really do so well, like, you know, back then. Nothing too cool in our history. Coheed and Cambria are like the two characters in the science fiction, like 3-part graphic novel that I'm working on called The Bag Online Adventures of Coheed and Cambria. Each record, like songs in the record, like loosely touch home on the story, but for the most part, like each record plays as a soundtrack to the story. Like, for example, the second stage Turbine Blade will be the second chapter in The Bag Online Adventures. Coheed and Cambria are like these two things that they're like guardians of these things called the keywork, and the keywork are these beams that bind all the planets together, and unfortunately they split apart, and then Coheed gets tricked into thinking that, you know, you gotta go meet Cambria, you gotta, you know, figure out what she's doing on this planet called Apollo, and so he goes, but he doesn't know he has a hidden agenda, and inside his heart they've implanted this thing called like the Monstar, and what happens is in order for it to generate and spawn into this thing, like it has to be a serum has to be injected, and that's where the dragonfly on the cover of Second Stage Turbine Blade comes into play. The next chapter following the Second Stage Turbine Blade will be the Upper Armories of Third Deep, and that's where all the band members come into play. Like we're actually the spawns of Coheed and Cambria, so we return to Heaven's Fence and we kick ass. 3 or 4 years ago, like I would sing in like our kind of hometown Woodstock, and like kids would write in local zines like how they would love to bludgeon me to death in a chair because they disliked the way the vocals were, and it's a little discouraging, but you know, I guess now it seems to be working because, you know, kids are digging it, but I don't really know what to expect from, you know, kids, whether it's going to be positive or negative. Well, what'll usually happen in our writing process is like I'll like sit at home and I'll like write up like the guitar, the structure of the song from front to back, and bring it to the table with the rest of the fellas, and they'll put together their parts, like the drums and the bass, and we'll arrange it to a point where we think it's satisfying. You know, we'll take like a whole day, not even a whole day, like a couple of hours to like write a song and try to get it to work to the point where we can play it live. Shows where there is no space and very limited, and we don't want to hit kids in the face with guitars, like, but when we have the space to work with, we really like to have fun and like try to jump around as much as we can. I mean, I guess it really all boils down to whether or not we're exhausted from the night before. Usually the music for us is pretty like energetic, and we like to like express it in our emotions, you know, as well as the music, I guess. I don't want people to think of us as like a technical prog rock band. It is cool, that's definitely what we are. But I just want people to think of it as good music, you know? That's really about it, you know? For someone to go, oh yeah, you know, who's Coheed and Cambria? Oh, they're a good band. You should go check them out. That's what I want people to think.